Nobel Peace Prize that Russia journalist Dmitry Muratov auctioned off to raise money for Ukrainian child refugees have sold for $103 million, shattering the record for a Nobel. Muratov, who was awarded the gold medal in October of 2021, helped found the independent Russian newspaper Novaya Gazeta and was the publication's editor-in-chief when it shut down in March in a Kremlin clampdown. Arise News chief correspondent John Cookson reports.
This is what we call the obverse of the front.
Solid gold and, in a way, priceless. This was the medal Dmitry Muratov won for his brave journalism.
Welcome now, Dmitry Muratov.
It was his idea to sell his prize on World Refugee Day, having already announced he was donating $500,000 to charity.
Today is an International Refugee Day.
Это не праздник.
And it's not a holiday.
Это день трудной, необходимой человеческой солидарности.
It is a day of difficult human solidarity.
And so the auction began. No one could have predicted how it would go.
And there is the item, folks. This is of one of the 7 categories the Nobel Committee chooses. And, of course, Dmitry was awarded it for peace.
The previous record for a Peace Prize medal was almost $5 million. But $103 million? The auctioneer couldn't believe it.
Can I just hear that one more time? Well, take your mask off so I can hear you, please. Hold on a second. Wow, that's a lot of dough. All right, Dustin, stay standing, please. Let me see your bidder card. I have over $100 million. It doesn't even matter what it is. Over $100 million. Then, ladies and gentlemen, done. Over $100 million.
Muratov, who helped found an independent newspaper in Russia, which was shut down by the Kremlin in the wake of Moscow's invasion of Ukraine, was jubilant, of course.
Мне неизвестно, какая будет реакция у правительства.
He said the record amount from a mystery bidder will go directly to UNICEF to help children displaced by the war in Ukraine. He denied he was brave and paid tribute to colleagues who died during the conflict. Since Putin came to power, nearly 24 journalists have been killed, including at least 4 who had worked for Muratov's newspaper. This spectacular auction was in some way a tribute to all who suffered and are still suffering. John Cookson, Arise News.
For more on the war in Ukraine, we can cross now live to a journalist, chief correspondent John Cookson, who joins us from London. John, we'll say thank you very much for joining us here on Newsday. Now, what's the latest report from the front line in the Donbas region? Let's start it off from there.
Hi guys. Well, look, you've already touched on that. Severodonetsk is the focus of Russia's attention. It's been 2 months now since the conflict to take the city began. The Russians are on the point of actually taking the city now. The governor's saying it was a quiet night last night, but it's the calm before the storm. Ukraine forces are stuck in the Azov chemical plant, and it's almost a rerun, is it not, of the siege of the Azov steelworks at Mariupol last month, which eventually fell to Russian forces. The difference between those 2 locations is that where the Ukrainian forces are stuck now at the Azov chemical plant, there's no shelter there, no below ground dungeons and massive caverns that there were underneath the steelworks at Mariupol. So it's really a pretty grim situation there, not only for Ukrainian forces who've been fighting, as I say, for almost 2 months now, but especially for the civilians. I can't imagine what conditions are like there for them. Fighting also going on throughout the Donbas region and cities that are not under and towns that are not under Russian control in Luhansk are coming under bombardment. And in the last 24, 48 hours, cities further afield, those in the south of Ukraine, like Odessa, also coming under attack. So this Russian creeping advance into Ukraine, so shows no sign of stopping. It's slow. It's sometimes village by village, but Putin's forces are desperate now to retake the whole of the Donbass region. And President Putin needs that to sell the whole venture to the Russian people, because he promised that right at the beginning when the invasion took place way back in February.
John, what more can you tell us about the Lithuania blockade of goods reaching Kaliningrad?
Yeah, this is a curious story which began yesterday. Kaliningrad, of course, a Russian territory sandwiched between Lithuania and Poland. It's an extremely important city and district for Moscow. It's the home of the Russian Baltic Navy. And the Russians have in the past stored nuclear weapons there. It's also an important industrial center, and there are many, many Russian businesses in the city. Now, what the Lithuanians have been doing is halting some railway trucks getting in with vitally needed supplies like metal, for example. And, of course, the Russians don't like it. And the EU ambassador was summoned for a dressing down in Moscow this morning to be told that the Putin regime takes a very dim view of what's going on in Kaliningrad. As you said in the intro, the Russians have promised retaliation for that, but left it open. So the big question is, what can they do? It could potentially be a flashpoint. Lithuania, both a member of the EU and also NATO, which takes this dispute into the upper stratosphere of political problems, as it were. So we'll have to wait and see. But I imagine perhaps the first move would be Russia putting more military hardware into the city, if it's able to do that.
All right, what message is Ukraine sending to the EU ahead of a key meeting about membership starting on Thursday?
Yeah, look, membership is almost certain. There's a key meeting in Brussels with the EU Council on Thursday and Friday. Now, Ruslan Stefanchuk, the chairman of the Ukrainian parliament, has been speaking this morning, and he says that he has one simple message to the European Union. We're fighting for EU values in battle, and a yes vote for Ukraine will be a gesture of support for Ukraine. And also in the last hour, the Luxembourg Foreign Minister, Jean Asselborn, has said that there is no opposition within the 27 nations of the EU to Ukraine's membership. Now, it's only a candidature that will be approved on Thursday or Friday. That is, the EU say, yes, we want you in the EU. It's going to take years, maybe decades, for Ukraine to actually become a member of the European Union, even if it's fast-tracked. And the reason for that is that Ukraine has to transform many of its legislative structures to incorporate EU law, and that takes a long, long time.
And finally, that incredible gesture from the Russian Nobel Prize winner, what's the significance?
That was amazing, wasn't it? I mean, my goodness me, the previous record was $3.5 million for a Nobel Prize, and here we have $103 million. The big question is, of course, who is the mystery donor? Was it, for example, someone like Bill Gates or one of the bosses of the big tech companies in California? We just don't know. What we do know is that the money will go to a very worthy cause, which are the children who are suffering very much in Ukraine at the moment. Millions of children displaced in that country since the invasion began at the end of February, not only in Ukraine but elsewhere in Europe. And it's money that's desperately needed to ensure that those children have a better life.
All right, John, I want to say thank you very much for your time here on Newsday. Have yourself a lovely day.